If tomorrow all things were gone I worked for all my life, I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my God above for living here today. The flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Hi guys, welcome to Citizen Watch. I'm Allison Salinas, your host for Monday nights at 7:30. We have a great show tonight. So I made this awesome friend, guys. I talked him into coming on the show. He was excited. He's got a lot of good information to share, things he's doing, things that are in the works, and a little bit about inside stuff. So we're going to talk about some things tonight. So I want to bring in Nathan Helm, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we'll go from there and start the show. Hi, Nathan. How are you?
Oh, it's another day in paradise. How about you?
Great. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just another day, another dollar, I guess.
Absolutely.
But Nathan, so tell me about yourself and why you're on this show and what you're about.
So, long story short, my name's Nathan Helm, or otherwise known as Big Country. I was Midwest born in Iowa most of my life until I got older and we moved to Arizona. After that, followed by the Marine Corps for a little while. And then I've worked multiple jobs over the years between auto technician and retail, and now currently for the last, starting my third year, over the road truck driving. And yeah, so that's pretty much the summary of my life in a nutshell. What I'm about is, I think, what a lot of PO Americans are right now, and getting things together as quickly as possible, but going through the right channels and knowing who to talk to, having the right connections, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I'm really excited to be on the show. I'm glad that you asked me to be a part of it. So hopefully I can help guide some insight to some folks with questions tonight.
Awesome. So here's how this works, Nathan. I do have my comments up. I have them on the screen, but we do read those at the end. If there's any questions from the audience that's listening, we are going off of 4 channels tonight, as we do every Monday night. We're going off my personal Facebook page, my Citizen Watch Facebook page, Citizen Watch YouTube, and Citizens for Salinas. So we're everywhere. Okay, so question number 1. You're a truck driver. What is your insight to how this is affecting truck drivers? What do people need to know about truck drivers? And what is the lowdown, I guess, on with all the government mandates versus truck driving, the threats with CDLs? Can you give me a little bit of insight on those things?
Absolutely. Yeah, you may have to repeat a couple of those questions once I get started. I have a pea brain. So anyways, with the trucking community, I'm sure a lot of you folks out there have seen your local stores and the shelves starting to get empty from time to time. There's a lot of truckers right now in the industry who are slow rolling. It's getting close to the point of a complete and total strike, but there's not enough people either, I would say, awake or on board to working together as an entire community. But if that were to happen, y'all would see it real quick. It doesn't take very long for things to shut down when the trucking industry shuts down. There's some diagrams you can go online and look at, but it shows us from CDL life, and it'll say day 1 to day 2 to week 1, et cetera, et cetera. You kind of get the idea there.
Right.
So right now it's kind of just some truckers here and there who are kind of doing a slow roll, and it's not really having as much of an impact as probably some of them are wanting it to. So there's probably going to be more information about that coming soon. I don't know much more than that on that aspect of it when it comes to the slow rolling. Now, CDL restrictions and things that Crazy Joe and his crew are trying to do over there in DC is make it mandatory for truckers to have a vaccine in order to get their DOT medical cards. Now, that kind of went out the water, so they went with the 100 employees or more company thing, which we're seeing right now all across the country, individual states, Leo, law enforcement places. Certain companies say, yeah, that's not happening here.
Right.
Specifically for my company, I know we're a mega carrier, and we've had some updates come out about it saying our policy is not going to change right now, but if it gets passed through the government, then we will have to implement it, and they're not planning on protecting us. So if that's the case, there's 90% of your entire workforce out the door. Trucking is an extremely conservative industry. About 90% of the people are either military veterans, a lot of blue collar work, a lot of, not everybody has a college degree, but they're about the work ethic. And I don't think people realize how important trucking is until the impacts of what happens when they stop hits them.
Absolutely. And I know there's people, it's all over Facebook. Oh, the shelves are empty. And, a lot of people understand from the comments on my Facebook page, at least, that they understand why, truckers are choosing to do this. It's not fair. It's not right to stop someone's livelihood. A lot of the truckers, they need their CDLs to be able to work. So there's CDL workers that I know that are saying, okay, forget it. You can have my CDL. My job doesn't require it. I'm not getting the mandate. I'm not getting the mandated vaccine. So, and then there's the ones that just can't, they feel like they're between a rock and a hard place. And, this, like you mentioned, the slow roll. So do you see any anticipated complete stops from truckers?
Honestly, if things keep going the way they are and these pending legal lawsuits from individual state legislators don't get enough ground, which I think they will in the majority of the states just because of how much and how many are doing it. But if for some crazy reason it was not to take enough, wake up Joe and his crew enough to just stop what they're doing, I think enough people in the trucking industry, once those mandates started coming out, would stop 100%. They would turn in their keys and they would go home.
Yep. And that's sad. It's that he's single-handedly destroying our economy. And I think a lot of people feel that. So we're going to switch gears a little bit, Nathan, here. And I'm going to ask you another question. You've got a group that you've been sharing a lot of. You've shared it with me. You've blasted some things on Facebook. And I know there's certain things you can and can't mention, but what can you tell us about this group and what is it about?
Sure, absolutely. So I can say that on Facebook, there is the group American Patriots. Y'all feel free to join that. Allison is on there, so you can probably find it through groups that she follows or ask her later. It's easy to find, but it's exactly what it says. I mean, we are a bunch of patriots who are fired up and ticked off with what's going on. And we're very strict to following the 1776, the Constitution of the United States. And it is our goal to get as many communities around this country in every state, people help and the resources that they need. So I believe Allison posted a link for the Telegram page here. I welcome any of you folks who are interested in finding out more of what we're discussing. It's a private messaging platform. Can't really discuss too much of what we're discussing in there. But please, honestly, feel free to come over and join or find me later on Facebook if you need to and ask me any questions you have about it. But it's really amazing. The people that I've met kind of just randomly gift from God from the Facebook group. And we got this started. And I really want to see some tread across every single state, all 48 and heck 50 if we could make it happen. So it'd be amazing.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a moment of silence because for some reason when we're talking, my links don't show up. So we're going to just be quiet for a second so people can actually see this. Okay. So I will flash it up again in a little bit. But and we've got, okay, so we got the comments open. So I had spoken with you. I don't even remember how we found each other, but I've talked to so many people, so I can't remember exactly how we found each other. I know on Facebook, but
Stop the tires.
oh, okay, there you go. So I probably posted an event that's coming up October 2nd, and that is the statewide 1776 Freedom Rally. And we're excited about this. We had a little bit of, a couple of bumps along the way with some other personal stuff, but luckily we've actually gone up in numbers. So that's good with people that are going or wanting to attend. So I asked you to come to the rally, and I asked if you wouldn't mind speaking, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
And are you coming?
It is all based upon the loads that I can get. I'm really hoping that I get the chance to make it, but it all determines on the loads that I can get and everything like that.
Absolutely. Well, we hope to have you there. We really do. Being in the trucking industry, I have several friends that drive trucks and or drive tow trucks. So it's interesting to hear their stories. And one thing I had asked you before the show, and I don't know how much you're going to be able to elaborate on this, but you kind of shocked me with a statement that you said. And we were talking about a little bit about military because you have insight on military and things like that. So I forget what it was I asked you. I asked you, hang on, I have to think for a second. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I asked you, what, if any, the military's involvement in things that go on and how much power? Oh, we were talking about, you had made the statement about how the military can take over the White House. And I said, well, how come they haven't done it yet? Because I'm thinking, Joe needs to be stopped. If the military's got the keys, why isn't anybody stopping it? And your response was?
So there's a lot of integral things that go on behind the scenes in the military, all the way up to the level of the commandants of the Marine Corps, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the SecDev and the SecNav, Secretary of the Navy, Secretary of Defense. Now, they're part of the Department of Defense, which is it's part of the government, but it's separate jurisdiction from the White House. So if they have someone in there as the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of the Navy are both in succession line to take over president, if you've all seen any movies based on like White House Down or things like that, you would notice when someone, the president goes down, somebody else takes over. Well, the military has the power to do that, but I truthfully believe that the reason is because there's too many corrupt individuals and corrupt officers of higher chains of command who are not taking care of their troops. And there's a lot of troops who are scared out there because this quote unquote vaccine, whatever you want to call it, the jab, cupcake, smoothie, whatever the heck. Anyways, these folks active duty are being faced with decisions that is between taking care of their family or taking something that could possibly kill them, make them infertile, pass it on to their spouse.
Right.
And they're being threatened with being kicked out with other than honorable discharges, all the way down to dishonorable discharges, which is wrong. And these individuals out there don't realize the type of legal help they have if they got a document signed and they took their commanding officer to the courts with a JAG officer. Just simple fact, conduct on becoming a United States military officer for the fact of you're breaking the Constitution.
Wow. That's a lot. It's a shame that, soldiers are being threatened, truckers are being threatened, teachers are being threatened. Everywhere, every which way we turn, I've spoken with parents left and right, how their kids can't play sports without the vaccine. And then, I give them a little bit of advice and head them in the right direction of how to handle things. And sometimes it comes out good, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they still are harassing them and threatening them with arrests and all kinds of things. So it's crazy. You know, there's been a lot of groups on Facebook and off of Facebook even that have come in and stood in front of the schools, the health department, any government building that they can. And we feel like we're screaming at the top of our lungs, you know, unmask our children, don't force the vaccine. You know, I've always been the kind of person that, you know, if you want the vaccine, get it. If you want to wear a mask, do it, but don't force it on others. You know, it should always be a choice. Everything should be a choice. And the people that want it should have the choice for them to be able to do it if that's what they want.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and we've talked about that every week almost for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks now. But it'd be great to have different topics to talk about. But sometimes we're stuck with the same old when it's just a repeat of bad history. So,
yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you was, so you're not even in Illinois, correct?
Correct.
And that's the funny thing, guys, because when I first started talking to Nathan, I thought, oh, okay, he's going to be one of my voters. Yeah, we got to convince him to move here first. And then we got to give him a reason to move here. So, and that's getting harder and harder by the second. But I happen to see the good in Illinois. I see the good people, the patriots, the real patriots, the people that want to save their state and they want to have a good state to live in. They want their kids and their grandkids to have a good state to live in. So one thing we were talking about, Nathan, was you running for office one day and how you would love to do that. And you don't know when or where, but hopefully it'll be in Illinois so that you can have my support. But, you know, it's nice to know that it's near and dear to your heart. It's nice to know that, you know, someone that's not even in this state cares about this state, and you drive through it all the time. You know, whether it's a delivery or whatever, you know, so you're familiar with it. You just don't live here. But
Absolutely.
The fact that you're willing to come to a freedom rally in Illinois without being in Illinois is amazing. I think that shows my viewers and myself that, hey, you know, we're reaching further. We're reaching out further than Illinois. So, and Stop the Tires, coincidentally, when I posted that post about the link, they took it down the first time because I made it a post. And then I went in the comment sections, and I think that's how you found me. But they couldn't stop that. But yeah, it's I know that page, there's some riffraff going on about whether, you know, I guess some of the people on the page, they're censoring people and not letting people talk. And so it's becoming exactly what we don't want. You know, it's creating that division all over again.
Absolutely.
So what are your plans about creating unity and freedom from your standpoint right now?
It's simple. I mean, you know, I'm not going to get into policy ideas and things like that right now.
Right.
But I mean, it's plain and simple, folks. Like, I truthfully believe, you know, I grew up in a Christian household, so I believe in the Bible. I mean, I believe in what it teaches, and, you know, I'm not going to preach to you folks because, you know, religious freedom, again, freedom. But,
right,
you know, when Jesus walked among us, he loved us all like no love you can even possibly even fathom. And I believe in sharing that with every single person out there. You know, we all get mad at each other on the road and want to flip each other off. We all get mad with this and that. But at the end of the day, my goal is to literally want people to come together, look at each other. Remember the old days when you'd walk through a city and you would just wave at somebody and say hello, and they'd wave back. It doesn't matter where they were going, what they were doing, skin color, political affiliation. It didn't matter. And it never should. And it's the thing with the media, and I'm not even going to say left wing. I'm just going to say correct politicians in general, because they're on both sides. And
right,
they want people to think the narrative is that this country is racist, this country is this and that. But my straight goal is, when I start going around these different states and speaking and finding individual people who can lead these people, I just want you all to be proud to be Americans and stick up for not only yourselves, but your fellow community members, and help out, to go out of your way to see something going on somewhere else and go there. It doesn't matter if you have roots or not. You see help needed and you help, because that is what this country was based on and founded on. and we've lost sight of that, but we can get it back.
Absolutely. And, my entire campaign is run on a Christian faith. I am a member of the Encounter in East Peoria in Illinois. And one things that I love about my church is that you come as you are. They want you there. They want you to love Jesus. They want you to learn about God and learn about, things that would make your life better in the light of God. And, it is a shame that we've lost it. We've lost God in our lives, and we've lost the ability to critically think anymore. We've lost the ability to communicate. And, I've always said that your best asset is your ears. And with that asset, in hearing people and understanding people, sit down and have a cup of coffee, sit down and, have a conversation, be real with someone. I cannot stress this enough that, if we don't get back to that, we're going to be lost forever. And Absolutely. It's like this realm of hate and division. And, it doesn't matter if you can't stand the person you're standing next to. As long as you're standing for freedom and standing for God, then you're still coming together, even if you don't get along. One of the greatest things I think in life is that we're not all the same, and we all think differently. We all have our own ideas and our own perception of how things should be or will be. I mean, if we were all the same, that'd be boring. But we'd just be like walking robots. It'd be insane.
Right.
But, the uniqueness, the differences, the different ideas, the different thought processes, that's what makes us fit together like a puzzle. We're supposed to intertwine with each other. We went from people barbecuing with their neighbors to one person has a Trump sign, one person has a Biden sign, and now they're not talking for 4 years, when they've been friends for 20. And it's something that, people need to understand that, there's a comment that said from Rose Spielman that says that is why God made us different but the same. That's absolutely correct. We are all sinners. We are all imperfect. And I use this cliche all the time, or I don't know if that's what it's called, but there's a movie, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And at the end of the movie, the Grinch steals all the presents, but all the families and little kids, they go around the Christmas tree and they're all holding hands and singing. They're all happy anyway. They don't need the materialistic things. They need each other. And once we've learned that we need each other instead of our values, our beliefs, or, we all bleed the same. We all bleed the exact same.
Absolutely.
So it shouldn't matter. But so if you were to come to Illinois, I'm still going to convince you. But hey, I brought 2 people from Texas to Illinois. I'm on a roll. One person from Florida and one person from Texas moved to Illinois. So I'm on a roll.
That is impressive, I do have to say.
Every time I tell people that, they're like, why? When I moved here 8 years ago from Texas, they just looked at me and shook their head and said, why? But you know what? I love Illinois. I love the 4 seasons. I love in Texas. You don't see that. It's either hot or what they think is cold. And,
pretty much.
But same thing with Florida. But, it's about bringing people together. It's about bringing those that you care about closer and knitting, form together almost like a family in a way. Yeah. And you have to get past your differences. You have to get past whatever it is that's dividing you and come together. So if you were to come to Illinois, what would that look like for you? The Illinois government, you know how it works, you know how messed up it is, generally. So if you were to, we'll make this question easy for you. If you were to take charge for 10 days in Illinois, you had complete power, what would you do?
Oh, Sweet Lord, if I had power of the entire state, I don't even want to call it power. I want to call it leadership, because I think
Absolutely.
that's another one of the things that these jackhammers over in DC, they they want that power, that corruption, that
Right.
dictatorship. It's the leadership. It's been gone for so long. But man, if I had the reins, first off, I would make sure that flying bat demon Mary or Lori Lightfoot would get out of Chicago and send her across the Great Lakes into Canada or something, and then I'd get rid of Dick Durbin, that's for sure. I don't think there'd be too many people in Southern Illinois who'd be unhappy with that. And that's the thing, because these big cities is what controls the elections. That's where the
Right.
electoral votes power come from, and that's where the majority of population. Chicago's got some 8-9 million odd people in the metropolitan area, and Chicago used to be such a beautiful, wonderful city. I mean, I used to go to the Cubs games when I was younger. You go get an amazing slice of pizza. They've got so many cool architectural things downtown, music museums, so many awesome, cool things. They've got great high schools and education for their kids. But these kids have to worry so much about their home lives, whether it's they live in a neighborhood that is considered maybe low poverty area, so they have a lot of people that are causing violence or shooting people, or there's a lot of drugs involved. And these children, they don't want to be a part of that. They're children. And
Right.
these little kids are being, during the entire time of COVID, they said there was something odd, like, I don't know how many people Sean Hannity had said was being killed in Chicago per day, but it was something in the 50 to 100 range. It was insane. Little 8-9-year-old little girls and boys being shot in the street over some stupid drug war.
Yep.
And opportunities are vast and endless in these cities if we have people willing to take charge and give these kids the opportunity of a good education. Because there's good teachers out there, there's bad teachers out there. Just like in any profession, there's the good and the bad. But that's one thing I would do in Illinois, is I would make sure that in the bigger cities, these kids had an opportunity to be educated the right way, not biased by teachers, but taught exactly what it's supposed to be taught. And they can go home, become critical thinkers, and talk with their families and their parents about what they think about it and make their own decisions based on family, not a teacher telling them what they should do.
Right.
Crime would be something kind of like how Trump did that crime reform bill. I thought that was amazing. I think we should have military veterans and even some active duty come into these law enforcement areas and help train our wonderful men in blue and our different agencies that we have in our towns available to the community. And those were a couple things that I would do like first few days. And then on like the third day, I'd bring everybody in the state together to a large gathering, somewhere like Wrigley Field or Chicago Bears Stadium or multiple places, and just have a nice country concert and have local barbecues and local food, mom and pop places, and just people come together and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Because
I think people
Yeah.
forgot what that's like. And
oh, they did.
I normally wait till the very end, which I'm close to it anyway. So I'm going to, you guys, I love this comment. I'm going to show it to you. Let's see if you can read it.
10-4.
Somebody thinks you need to run for governor, sir.
Well, I appreciate it. I gotta save up a little bit more money first before I can move somewhere and settle down. Lord knows I'd love to take over governor. I know it sounds far-fetched and kind of out there, but my end game goal is to run VP or for the House of Presidents. So
Wow. Nice.
kind of got inspired over the last couple years. Just I have all day long to listen to podcasts, to listen to the news, to listen to so many different things, and I've educated myself as much as I can over these last couple years, and I'm gathering as much intel. I'll listen to documentaries on the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the Declaration of Independence, and the founding of the country, different things so that when you do run on a platform, when the opposite side tries to say, well, that didn't happen. Really? Can you show me?
Yeah.
I'm going to pull something from your past. What? My past of working in the workforce? Okay. Have fun.
Yeah. It's, and Rose is right. You're never out of reach when you have God in your life. And oops, sorry, what happened? Let's see. Sorry about that.
My finger slipped.
Oh, okay. I was like, where'd you go? So no, you're good. So yeah, it's it's amazing, and I've said it when I first started running back in January. I was the first to file for U.S. Senate, and it's been a long road, and I got a long road still to go, and I got a long and bumpy road. So just because of the seat it is, and what people expect out of me, and it's a lot to run, but at the same time, I think it's average people like us that is what it's going to take to make the difference, is what
Absolutely.
it's going to take to change things around. A lot of people want to condemn people that don't have any history, running for, whether they're not a state rep, or they have 10 years political backing. People are tired of that. They want real, genuine people that maybe make mistakes in life, but own up to it and change and move on for the better. Or,
Sure.
People that just really care about their state and the people in it, and someone who will really listen and sit down and have that conversation.
Absolutely.
And, that's one thing that I've done my entire campaign is people have my cell phone number. People have a way to directly contact me. They can hit me up on Facebook. Hey, I need to talk to you. Okay, here's my number. Give me a call. It irritates my husband a little bit because it takes 95% of my life now. But hey, it is what it is when you run for office. So,
Absolutely.
The biggest reason that I decided to run personally was, we need change. And I didn't see anybody else worthy enough to step up to take Tammy Duckworth out. And I know my tenacity. I know my gut, and I know my heart. And as long as I run with God, we're good. So I hope you can make it out October 2nd. I really do. I hope you work really hard to make that happen. I'd love to meet you in person and
Absolutely.
be there for the biggest freedom. We've got, I think, 1.2K people going or interested. So yeah,
Holy cow.
it's growing. It's when a bunch of stuff hit the fan and everybody said, oh, don't go. And then more people just started jumping on. So it's, like I said, you can either waste your time and not liking somebody, or you can stand up for freedom. And personally, to me, if you're not there, then that's hypocritical if you're going to preach, especially if you're a politician and or running for office in 2022. If you're preaching unity and preaching freedom, then you need to come and be that voice, be that person. And we got a lot of people coming. We got a lot of people hyped up and ready to go. And, some people have asked me, well, is this a candidate? Is it for your Senate run, or is it for freedom? And it's absolutely for freedom. It's 100%. I might be the one running it, but that doesn't mean a thing. On October 2nd, I'm going to serve as a citizen that cares about our freedom and unity, not as a candidate. And, sometimes we got to just bring that home a little bit and reel it in. So I appreciate you coming on. We are out of time tonight, Nathan. I know it went by faster than what it seemed like, but it was great to see you on here.
Thank you.
I look forward to having you maybe to meet you on October 2nd. If not, I've got a fundraiser that I can shoot you the link to on October 22nd in Springfield, and you can come to that if you want. But so that's it, guys. And yes, Rose Spielman will be speaking. She said she's not running for anything, but I'm fighting for freedom, and that's what it's about. We've got teachers, we've got doctors, nurses, people with a voice. Every voice matters, every single one. I don't care. This isn't about party affiliation. This isn't about race. This isn't about anything but freedom and coming together as one. And when we can do that, we've accomplished something. So I want to say goodnight to you guys all. Have a great Monday night. God bless you, Nathan, for coming on. And I will see you next Monday at 7:30. Citizen Watch, where your voice matters.